progressive overload and why you should be incorporating it into your workout routine to get stronger, leaner, blast more body fat, and feel amazing. That's what I'm gonna be breaking down for you guys in this week's video. If you're a beginner, or you've been exercising for a really long time and you're not seeing the results that you want and you're not getting stronger, make sure to watch this video right to the end because I'm gonna break down what is progressive overload, the most simplest, basic explanation that I can give you to really help you understand and why you should be doing it if you wanna build lean muscle, get stronger, and blast body fat. And I'm gonna go through two different scenarios. If you are someone who goes to boot camps or group type classes, how you can apply progressive overload to yourself and your training in these classes. And second, I'm gonna explain how if you are someone who goes to the gym on your own or works out at home, how you can apply these progressive overload principles to your own training program. But just quickly, before we dive right in, if you're new here, my name's Michelle Roots. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're not, welcome back, guys. I'm a kinesiologist, personal trainer, certified strength and conditioning specialist, nutrition coach, and fitness and fat loss motivation specialist. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit that bell to be notified because I'm bringing you new videos every single week to help you on your fitness and fat loss journey. And if you find any of the information in this video helpful, make sure you give it a like and leave any questions in the comments below. I'm always happy to help you guys out. Okay, let's not waste any more time. What is progressive overload? Progressive overload is simply a principle of doing more over time. So when we're talking about your training program, progressive overload is consistently challenging your body and stressing your muscular and neuromuscular systems to continue to improve and continue to get better, stronger, leaner. When it comes to training our bodies are constantly in a state of adaptation. So we are constantly trying to meet the stresses placed on the body. And if you are consistently putting the same amount of stress on your body, whether it's lifting the same weights, running the same distance, you are never progressing it and putting more stress. You are never going to improve because eventually your body is just going to adapt to the stresses placed on it and you will just do what we call plateau. And this is often the number one reason why I see a lot of people not getting the results that they want when they're going to the gym 7 days a week. People are putting in the work. That's sometimes not even the problem. People are putting in the work. They're going to their boot camp classes. They're showing up at 6 a.m. They're doing all the things, but they're not following this basic principle. And often what I talk about on social media is hashtag challenge yourself. So they're not actually pushing themselves past their comfort zone. And that quote you always hear, success lies outside your comfort zone, that is true. Consistently challenging yourself and pushing your body to its limits. It doesn't mean that you have to be dead on the floor at the end of the workout. It's consistently progressing the stresses placed on your body. And that is where progressive overload comes in order to really get the best results from all of the work you're putting in. So because I focus mainly on strength training with all of my clients, whether it's in person or online, I'm gonna focus mainly on progressive overload in strength training in this video today. But again, progressive overload can be applied to running, it can be applied to swimming, whatever you choose to do for your training, you can still apply the exact same principles I'm gonna talk about in this video, but again, I'm gonna focus mainly on strength training. So let's talk about two different scenarios. So first scenario is someone who goes consistently to group fitness classes, which is amazing. Maybe you're doing strength training and cardio. A lot of boot camp style classes incorporate both. So maybe you're doing battle ropes, you're doing stair sprints, you're doing strength training in an interval type setting where you're maybe lifting everything for a timed interval of 30 seconds, 40 seconds, whatever it might be at your boot camp. I'm gonna talk about how you can apply progressive overload on your own in a boot camp class. And then next, in the second scenario, I'm gonna talk about how if you go to the gym on your own or you work out at home, how you can apply progressive overload to your own personal workouts. Okay, let's start with scenario one. So maybe you're someone who goes to a boot camp class, or maybe you do workouts that you find right here on YouTube. I've got lots on my channel as well. All body weight workouts, I'll link those in the description below. And I've also got a free 4-week workout calendar. I'll link all that below, but that aside, you can also apply progressive overload principles to these workouts that you're doing. But if you're in a class with 20 other people, it is very hard for the trainer to make sure that you're challenging yourself. So that's where it comes down to the responsibility on you to make sure you are pushing yourself and challenging yourself to lift heavier and work harder. But I'm gonna give you 2 tips if you are someone who goes to boot camp of how you can apply progressive overload to make sure you are taking responsibility to progress your strength and really start to get stronger. First tip, if your exercise class, you are working for 30-second rounds. So it is a class where the timer is on and you're doing kettlebell deadlifts for 30 seconds, you're doing stair sprints for 30 seconds. Start to take a mental note of how many reps you're doing in 30 seconds. So for example, if you are doing a kettlebell deadlift, say you are lifting the 45-pound kettlebell, and for that 30 seconds, count in your head how many reps you're getting. When you are coming back to that exercise, try and beat how many reps you did. Maybe not in that specific class, the following week, or think, oh, I lifted the 45-pound kettlebell last week and it felt pretty good. I'm gonna move myself up to the 55-pound kettlebell, or whatever, if you have a 50-pound kettlebell, but try and continue to make a mental note and take responsibility for the weights that you are lifting. And even if you can't remember, grab your phone, type it in. I did the deadlift with the 45-pound kettlebell, or a single arm dumbbell row. I lifted the 15-pound dumbbell for 10 reps. I could probably push heavier. So that's where you can start to take responsibility for your own progressive overload in the group class setting. Just because you're going to a group class and the coach is looking the other way and you're like, oh, I'm gonna slack off, you're only hurting yourself. You are there to get the best results you can. And this is what I tell all of the clients that walk into my class and into my studios. I'm always like, I think we can add weight to that. That looked too easy. You know, not to the point where they're feeling uncomfortable or that they're doing things wrong. If someone is able to perform something with perfect form for about 15 reps, that's when we're increasing their weights. I'm like, I want you to slow it down, increase your weight until you can do that weight for 12 to 15 reps. And then we continue to do it that way. So that's one simple way that you can take control if you are in a boot camp setting and you don't have a trainer breathing down your neck, making sure that you are lifting heavier weights. The second way is often if you are going to a boot camp or a class, you don't know what exercise you're gonna be performing until you get there. You as an individual, if you are going into a boot camp and you notice a lot of exercise continue to repeat. For example, most likely you're always be doing deadlifts, you're gonna be doing some kind of a squat, you might be doing some kind of a rowing exercise, a chin up, a lat pull down. So this is where you can make a mental note in each month. You say, this month I'm gonna focus on trying to increase my deadlift. Every time I come into this boot camp class, I'm either going to try to increase my reps or I'm gonna try and increase my kettlebell. Sorry, I digress. Don't try and increase every single time. So every week you wanna try and be increasing by 10%, whether that is your rep range or the weight that you're lifting. So don't think that every single class you're gonna get stronger. That's how we end up getting hurt. So you want to just take note of how you feel after you lift each weight. So for example, it's January 1st. My goal this month is to increase my deadlift. I'm still gonna work hard in all the other exercises, but my mental focus is on my deadlift. So you go into that class, every time there's a deadlift in the class, you take note of what weight you're lifting, how many reps you lifted that weight for, and then even if you write it down in your phone, you carry a notepad around, you ask the trainer to write it down for you so you remember, anything like that. And then a week later, continue to just take mental note and focus on that exercise. My recommendation is maybe pick an upper body exercise and a lower body exercise, and maybe one cardiovascular type exercise, again, depending on the group class setting that you go to. Anything that you want to improve on that you're continuing to see progress and you're not just worrying about the weight on the scale. So there you go, guys. Those are my 2 tips for someone who goes to a group class setting of how you can apply progressive overload on your own and take that responsibility for your own gains. Scenario 2, you are someone who goes to the gym on your own and works out, or you work out at home on your own. You want to know how you can start to apply progressive overload principle to your own independent workouts to make sure your body is not going to adapt and you're going to continue to build strength, build lean muscle, and blast body fat. So I wanna start off by saying, when it comes to progressive overload, again, it's not all about increasing your weights every time. There are so many other ways you can manipulate progressive overload into your training plan. For example, you can lift the same load for a longer distance in a farmer carry, for example, if you are holding the dumbbells. Walk for a further distance with the same weight. Example number 2, of course, lifting a heavier weight than you did last time. Example number 3, you can lift the same weight with the same volume, meaning the same amount of reps and sets, but with better form, better efficiency, and better muscle contraction. That is progressive overload. That means you are continuing to challenge yourself because you are focusing on form. Example number 4, you can lift the same weights, the same reps, with less rest time in between. Example number 5, there are so many more, but lifting the same weight, the same volume with more speed or acceleration. So as you can see, there are so many ways to apply that progressive overload principle. And the main thing you want to focus on is the word progressive, meaning I'm not gonna go from deadlifting 100 pounds to deadlifting 200 pounds the next week. So progressive overload. So how do you apply this principle to your own individual workouts? If you are someone who just wings it every time you go to the gym and you don't really know, I think I'll do legs today, I think I'll do upper today, maybe I'll do some deadlifts, I'll do some this, that could be the problem. So one, that also is a problem with motivation, is if you don't have a plan to follow, that's often why people hire people like me, like personal trainers, because we hold you accountable and we create a training program for you that keeps holding you accountable and makes sure that you are following progressive overload and continuing to challenge yourself. More info about my online coaching at the link below, just in case you're wondering. So when looking at applying progressive overload to your own independent strength training workouts, whether it's at the gym or at home, just take note again of what you are lifting, how much you are lifting, how you felt after you lifted that specific weight for a certain amount of reps. My best advice is write it down, take note, and that's the only way you're gonna remember. I personally write down everything for all of my clients. I personally write down everything. I have the notepad in my phone, and I also have a whiteboard at my studio where we keep track of all these things, because we are not gonna remember. We all have busy lives, and when it comes to specific weights and reps and how long it took you to do something, all of these things, take note of what you lifted. And that's how you're gonna know what you're gonna lift the following week. So again, even if you're doing your own workouts, you can do the exact same principle I talked about in the people who go to boot camp classes. Maybe you are gonna continue with your lower body days, you're gonna continue with your upper body days, but maybe this month you are gonna focus specifically on your barbell back squat and your barbell deadlift. Maybe a dumbbell goblet squat and a kettlebell deadlift or a dumbbell deadlift. It doesn't have to be a barbell exercise. Maybe these are the 2 lower body exercises you're gonna focus on, and then focus on upper body. Best case scenario, you're applying progressive overload to all the exercises you are doing to ensure you are continuing to challenge yourself. But again, depending on if you're a beginner, I honestly say pick 2 exercises, 2 upper body, 2 lower body exercises, focus on that for the month and try and increase rep ranges. A lot of people ask me, when do I know when it's time to increase the weight that I'm lifting? So for muscle gain and strength, you want to try and stay in the 6 to 8 rep range. What I mean by that is, let's say you're lifting a 20-pound dumbbell for a single arm dumbbell row exercise. Once you lift that dumbbell for your 6th rep, if you're not dying and you're like, oh, I could probably push to 8 reps. Once you get to that 8th rep, if it's a struggle and you're really feeling the challenge on that 8th rep, that's a great range for you. So you wanna make sure when you hit that last rep that it's a challenge and you probably couldn't have done any more with good form. Or you get to that 7th rep and your form starts to look a little sketchy. That's when you stay in that 6 rep range. Don't push that extra rep. That's how we get hurt. Stay in that 6 to 8 rep range until you can do 8 reps. Once you can do 10 reps with great form and you're like, I probably could have done 10 to 12, that's when you're increasing your weight. So for example, in a single arm dumbbell row, maybe you're gonna go from 20 to 25 pounds and you start again. I'm gonna start lifting once I can do 6 reps, once I've done 8 reps and I can do it with good form and I probably could have done 10, that's when you're continuing to increase your weight. So this is the same principle you can apply to every single exercise you do in your workouts. If you guys want me to make a video about how to create your own training program that will best hit every muscle group and kind of for beginners, if you're looking for a beginner strength training workout that you can do at the gym, let me know in the comments below. I'd be happy to do a video on that to break it down for you guys of how to create your own workout plan. If you don't want to hire a personal trainer, I would love to break that down for you guys and show you a simple workout plan that you can follow, and then you can start to apply this progressive overload principle to your own training plans. So there you guys go. That is the most basic explanation of progressive overload that I can give you. Again, this video is more so for you if you are a beginner to moderate experience in the gym and you are just looking to learn how to challenge yourself safely without injury. So with that being said, there are 3 simple principles I want you to follow when you are applying progressive overload to your own workouts. 1, never compromise form. So if you are wanting to increase your weight, or you're wanting to increase your rep range or your speed or your volume, any of those things, if you lose form in any of those exercises, stop. That is how we get injured. And in the end, if you're not doing the exercise properly, but you're lifting heavier weight, you're still not gonna get anything out of the exercise because you're not activating the muscle properly. We've all seen these people at the gym who do the bicep curls and they're not able to lock in their core and they're not lifting a weight that they can actually stabilize their body, activate their bicep muscles properly, and curl. They're using their hip bones and their back and everything to try and get that weight up. That's not what I want to see from any of you guys, please. Second thing I want you guys to remember is if you are a beginner, progressive overload will be the funnest in the initial stages, first 3 months, 4 months of your journey. That is when you are building muscle and you are learning new movements, you're really learning your form. That is when you're going to see the most progressions. As you start to build more muscle and you get stronger and you're doing bigger lifts, you will see that progressive overload start to slow down. Maybe you're not jumping up by 10, 20 pounds at a time. You might be jumping up by 2.5, 1.5 pounds sometimes. Just be humble, continue to apply the exact same principles I talked about in this video, but remember, it's not always going to be the same jumps up in weight or the same jump up in reps as it was when you first started tracking your weights. And the third thing I want you guys to remember, if you are looking to get stronger and you want to apply this progressive overload principle to your own workouts and continue to increase your weight, continue to get stronger, increase your reps, increase your volume, you need to make sure you are fueling your body properly. Don't start no fad diet, starvation type 1200 calorie diet and expect to get stronger and get leaner and build more muscle. If you are looking to build lean muscle and apply this progressive overload principle with the goal of building lean muscle, you need to eat to fuel your body. I have a lot of videos already on my channel talking all about this as to why you shouldn't be starving your body, and it will be much harder to get stronger. You can check out these videos here, these videos here. I'll leave a bunch of links in the description below if you are looking to learn more about nutrition and how to properly fuel your body to build lean muscle and blast body fat, and of course, get really strong. And of course, when we talk about all of that nutrition stuff, protein, protein, protein. I've got a free high protein foods cheat sheet. I'll leave a link in the description below where you can download that. I've also got a free calorie deficit guide. You can download that below as well, just to help you guys out, learn more about fueling your body versus starving it and still achieve fat loss and build lean muscle and get stronger in the gym. And most importantly, feel amazing, not feel tired and starving all the time. That is my simple breakdown of progressive overload. I hope this video was helpful and I hope you learned something. Again, if you did, make sure you give this video a like, leave any comments or questions below. Let me know what you thought. Let me know how you liked it and what you learned and what else you want to learn from me. I'm happy to take ideas of what you want my next video to be. I'm here for you guys to help educate you. And of course, I'll leave a link in the description below of where you can learn more about my one-on-one online personal training. If you really want to take your results to the next level and have me on your butt 24/7, making sure you are doing the right exercises and the right progressive overload principles to make sure you are going to get the results that you want. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you next week.